Browns' new offensive coordinator. Ken Dorsey talked about what the Browns' offense might look like next year.
If you didn't necessarily see a bunch of motion in Buffalo or whatever the case may be, if you tried to identify your trends and traits by watching your previous film, does that necessarily inform what you're going to be like here, and what new and fresh ideas will you bring?
Yeah, I think when you go back and watch some of the previous film, especially as the season went on, I think that there's definitely going to be some things, that we'll do, but then there's going to be definitely some things that, yes, we would be doing differently. And obviously that's the exciting part with working with Kevin, is a lot of that communication between him and I, just in this short span of time. I think there's a lot of philosophical things that, we'll see eye to eye on. And then there's going to be some things that, we're going to hash out, and we're going to say, hey, this is what I think. And then, Kevin will say, this is what I think. And we'll end up going in whatever direction we feel like is best suited for us as an offense.
So, Tyler, when you think about Ken Dorsey, is he too similar to Kevin Stefanski, or is he? I mean, the shotgun is a little different. There was a little bit more run-pass option. There's not a whole lot of motion, though.
Yeah, the big thing with Ken Dorsey, I think he brings, is more of the RPO aspect, which I do believe the Browns want to incorporate more, because that is something Deshaun Watson is very comfortable with and did well in Houston. I think Ken Dorsey and Kevin Stefanski are very similar, but I think Ken Dorsey, his offensive scheme, though, was also more like shotgun-based. Stefanski's is, the most comfortable Stefanski is when quarterback under center, 2 tight ends on the field. I do think with Ken Dorsey, it opens things up a little bit more. They want to use a lot more shotgun this coming year. But the other addition, Dave, that I think is very underrated here, and I mentioned it before, is Tommy Rees coming in as the tight end coach. And he also was going to be the pass game coordinator. That one's interesting because at Alabama would use a decent amount of motion, but also keep in mind that Tommy Rees is another young offensive mind. So you're going to have multiple guys, young offensive minds, that are being able to come together and really determine what is best for this offense. I do think the Browns are going to pick up a lot more motion next year, because you start to see what the NFL is trending towards. And that's becoming something that offenses need to do more often than not in order to create mismatches for themselves. So I think we're going to see more of that. I know Ken Dorsey didn't do a ton of that in Buffalo, but I think the combination of Tommy Rees, Ken Dorsey, and Kevin Stefanski, they're going to come up with a pretty solid game plan this year. And I can't wait to see what they come up with for Deshaun Watson.